Your thumb hovers. The message is typed, vulnerable, maybe too vulnerable. And then, delete, delete, delete. You watch the words disappear, one character at a time, like you're erasing a part of yourself that almost escaped. If you've ever done this, and you have, you've probably wondered, what does that say about me? Because it's never just about the text. It's about the version of you that almost got sent into the world, the one you decided, in that final second, to pull back. Let's talk about the psychology behind the people who do this. Not because it's a flaw, but because that moment of erasure is actually a window into how you protect yourself, how you see others, and how you navigate the invisible rules of connection. First, there's the perfectionist self-censor. You know this person. Maybe you are this person. They'll type out "I miss you" and then stare at it thinking, is that too much? Too soft? What if they think I'm clingy? So they delete it and send, "Hey, what's up?" instead. Same intention, zero risk. The psychology here is control. For the perfectionist, every text is a performance, a tiny stage where their personality must be exactly calibrated. They're not afraid of rejection. They're afraid of misrepresenting themselves, of being seen as too emotional, too needy, too something. The deletion isn't cowardice. It's a brutal form of self-editing. They'd rather say nothing perfectly than say something imperfectly. If you've ever rewritten a 3-word text 5 times, you might be carrying an invisible belief that your raw feelings need a polish before they're worthy of being witnessed. Then there's a different profile entirely, the emotional risk avoider. This one cuts deeper. They'll pour out a paragraph about feeling hurt or left out, their thumbs flying across the screen in a rare moment of honesty. But right before they hit send, a cold thought creeps in. What if they don't care? What if I'm just giving them ammunition to use later? And just like that, it's gone. The psychology here is self-protection rooted in past wounds. Maybe they grew up learning that vulnerability got them dismissed or punished. Maybe they've opened up before and been met with silence. So now, their finger on the delete button is a defense mechanism, a way of saying, I'll reject myself before you get the chance to. It's preemptive heartbreak. The irony? They often come across as distant or hard to read, when in reality, they're just guarding a sensitivity so acute they don't trust anyone else to hold it gently. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's someone you've stopped texting because you felt their walls were too high. But here's the twist. Some people delete texts not because they're scared for themselves, but because they're hyper-aware of you. Meet the burden bearer. They'll type out a long rant about their terrible day, then delete it because, they're probably busy. I don't want to be a downer. Or they'll craft a vulnerable confession, then think, this will just stress them out. Their deletion is an act of service, or so they believe. Psychologically, this is about people-pleasing dialed up to empathy overload. They've learned, often early on, that their needs are secondary, that taking up emotional space is selfish. So they edit themselves into invisibility. The delete button becomes a way to stay small, to not inconvenience the universe with their messy humanity. What they don't realize is that this constant self-minimizing creates a loneliness that's hard to name. After all, how do you explain that you feel unseen when you're the one constantly erasing yourself? And then, there's the authenticity questioner. This is the person who types something raw and real. I feel so lost right now. But before sending, they pause and think, wait, is this really how I feel? Or am I just having a moment? So they delete it, not out of fear, but out of distrust for their own emotional state. The psychology here is subtle but profound. It's a form of self-invalidation. They've absorbed the message that feelings are fluctuations, not facts, and that acting on them is impulsive. So they wait for a better, more rational version of themselves to speak. The problem? That version never shows up. By the time they've calmed down, the moment to connect has passed, and the feeling has been stuffed back into the silence it came from. They're not protecting others, or even themselves, from rejection. They're protecting themselves from their own impermanence. So which one are you? Maybe you're a mix. Maybe you're the perfectionist on Tuesday and the burden bearer by Friday. The truth is, every deleted text is a small story about belonging, about who you believe deserves your unfiltered self and under what conditions. It's not just anxiety. It's a calculation, sometimes wise, sometimes wounded, about what happens when you let yourself be seen without a safety net. Next time your thumb hovers over delete, pause, not to stop yourself, but to ask, what am I pulling back from? The answer might tell you something your polished, sent texts never could.